This morning in the investigation into Russian meddling in the 2016 U.S. election, multiple sources tell NBC News that special counsel Robert Mueller's team has gathered enough evidence to bring charges in the investigation of former Trump National Security Advisor Michael Flynn and his son. The probe into Flynn is part of Mueller's investigation into Russian interference, but sources say investigators are also looking into Flynn's lobbying work, including whether he laundered money or lied to federal agents about his overseas contacts. Mueller's team is also examining whether Flynn attempted to orchestrate the removal of a chief rival to Turkish President Recep Erdogan from the U.S. to Turkey in exchange for millions of dollars, two officials said. Now let's bring in Ken Delaney, an intelligence reporter for NBC News, who's part of the team that broke this story. All right, let's break these down into bits. Let's start with Michael Flynn Sr., and then we'll talk about his son. Is the investigation into Flynn Sr., Ken, focused mainly on the Turkey aspect of it, or is it broader and does it impact the Russiagate aspect?
Oh, Joy, we absolutely think it's broader. Of course, it involves his contacts with Russian Ambassador Sergei Kislyak. But the new ground that we're breaking in this story is that it is also very much focused on his relationship with the government of Turkey, the undisclosed lobbying that he did, for which he was paid $530,000, and then what action he may have taken to seek to orchestrate the removal from the U.S. of this cleric, Fethullah Gulen, who is an opponent of the Turkish government that was paying Mike Flynn. That's what's new here, is that we are saying that the FBI is looking into Flynn's actions involving Gulen and the question of whether he was offered millions of dollars in exchange for or in relation to a promise to orchestrate the removal of Gulen from the country, Joy.
Absolutely. And we should note that the spokesperson for the special counsel did not comment yet on this story. This is NBC's exclusive reporting. I want to read you a little bit more, Ken, from the story that you contributed to. Michael Flynn's son, Michael G. Flynn, who worked closely with his father, accompanied him during the campaign, and briefly worked on the presidential transition, could be indicted separately or at the same time as his father, according to three sources familiar with the investigation. If the elder Flynn, this is the key part, is willing to cooperate with investigators in order to help his son, two sources said, it could also change his own fate, potentially limiting any legal consequences. This sounds to me, Ken, like the prosecutors are potentially setting Michael Flynn up to save his son or save himself. Your thoughts?
It does sound like that, Joy, and that's carefully worded, and there's a reason why. We believe this is in flux. This is a developing situation, and it may well be that one or more of these men cuts a deal, in which case we would not see charges. And so what we're saying is they have enough evidence to bring charges, and you're absolutely right. To the extent that Michael Flynn, the son, is implicated here and facing criminal jeopardy, it puts huge pressure on his father. It's one thing for his father to be facing a potential prison term, but the idea that his son, who has a young baby at home, could be in trouble has got to be weighing in on the former National Security Advisor's thinking, Joy.
Absolutely. All right, Ken, stay with us just for a moment. I want to bring in my panel, former State